Hello, and welcome back to City Skylines, Pittsburgh. First off, I wanted to say thank you all for helping me reach 500 subscribers. I know this is just the start of my YouTube journey, but I wanted to show some appreciation to those of you who have been around since the beginnings of this channel. Secondly, I wanted to explain the mission of my channel, the main goals I have for the Pittsburgh project, and to give some future direction of where you can expect my content to go in the future. Around 2 years ago, I started planning this Pittsburgh project, and in January 2022, I started work on the blank terrain height map. In the beginning, before my YouTube channel was created, I was documenting all of my progress updates on Reddit. After I gained a small following on Reddit, I received more than a few requests to start a YouTube channel and turn the project into a full series. I never really knew how well YouTube as a platform would work out, and I started this channel with no expectations to grow. I didn't have any experience with YouTube, video editing, or content creation, so I was a bit hesitant to start at first. But after about 2 months of building and expanding Pittsburgh, I decided to release the first episode of the series, Allentown. Again, I really want to thank everyone who stuck around through this time where I was still refining my editing style and trying to figure out how to make more engaging content. 3 months later, I'm still very much learning and experimenting with ways to improve the videos I create to be more interesting to watch for viewers like you. Other than saying thank you for all the continued support, I also wanted to release this video to outlay the mission and some of the objectives I have for the future of the Pittsburgh project and any other subsequent projects on this channel. My first main goal with this project is to showcase the city of Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh is a mid-sized North American city built on the confluence of the Ohio, Monongahela, and Allegheny rivers. It is an underrated and sometimes overlooked Rust Belt city filled with rich culture and history. The city is set between steep hills and valleys, making for some dramatic viewpoints, as well as creating interesting challenges to work through with regards to respecting the terrain topography and working against the game mechanics. One of the major reasons I chose the city of Pittsburgh is due to its dramatic terrain, rivers, many bridges, and the famous viewpoints such as the Fort Pitt Bridge city entrance. The view from Shenley Park's Flagstaff Hill, or the West End Overlook Park view. I also chose Pittsburgh to be able to showcase all of the diverse neighborhoods and districts that make up the metro area. The second goal of the series is to revitalize the city from a city planning point of view. Again, I chose Pittsburgh as it was a perfect Rust Belt candidate for improvements such as transit network expansions, infrastructure improvements, increasing walkability, and applying various city planning projects. In its current state, Pittsburgh is a heavily car-centric city with a transit system consisting of 3 LRT lines in the form of T, trolley, or streetcars, 2 funicular lines, which are called the inclines, and 98 bus lines, some of which drive along busway corridors which can be compared to BRT, and 84% of which travel to downtown Pittsburgh. Once I finish the city in its present state, I plan to base my initial changes on the plans outlaid by the 25-year Next Transit Forward-Looking Transit Report. I also plan to take influence from the transit improvement proposals from the Pittsburgh Port Authority in order to simulate real-world improvement plans that are being discussed today. These plans include changes that would allow for the transit network in the Pittsburgh metro area to serve an additional 460,000 riders and support up to 70,000 additional jobs. There's a few items that I unfortunately won't be able to cover, such as the International Airport Rapid Transit Corridor plans, or the North Hills Rapid Transit to Wexford and Cranberry plans. That's simply due to the limitations of the game and playable map size. Even using all of the 81 tiles, I couldn't fit both the International Airport and downtown into one map. But I plan to cover many of the changes outlaid in this transit plan from Next Transit, as well as introduce some fixes of my own. And with your help from the comments below and discussion on Discord, I hope that this can really become a living and breathing project. My third main goal of the series is to create the most realistic North American city recreation in City Skylines. From the start of the project, I've taken a lot of care to build the city as close as possible to the real-life counterpart within the limitations of the game. I have also taken a lot of inspiration and been motivated by some great City Skylines creators, such as the editing style of Palm's Time, the narratives, discourse, and city planning commentary of Prez, the procedural objects and camera work of Dirty H, and the series planning and cinematic style of $2.20. I have spent over 2,000 hours learning the game, the mods, and the Steam Workshop, as well as another 500 hours in planning to try to build the most realistic version of Pittsburgh possible. I know that I still have a long way to go, and I don't mean to directly compare myself to these much more established channels. Instead, I aspire to elevate my content and creations to the level of these creators by making this a living, breathing project and channel. I'm closely monitoring the game limits such as the building and nodes limit, and I'm using mods such as remove need for pipes and procedural objects extensively to expand the final scale and scope of the project. I also plan on going back to make improvements to parts of the city as I see fit and completing additional detailing as I get more experience with the games and tools, especially procedural objects. Finally, I plan to keep attempting to improve my narratives and make more engaging content as I get more comfortable with and familiar with video editing. Again, I really want to just thank each and every one of you for sticking around while I figure out this channel and make decisions to the direction I want to take it in. I never would have thought that I would reach 500 subscribers in just a few short months, but I really recognize and appreciate your support. I hope you're enjoying the Pittsburgh content and are excited to see more, as I know I'm excited to keep building. For the future plans of my channel, I want to complete more projects like this Pittsburgh project, where I recreate and revitalize real-world, full-scale cities. Rochester, New York may be the next city I cover, but stay tuned for updates. I also may introduce a fictional City Skylines series at some point based on an ideal capital city or something similar. If you'd like to stay up to date, discuss, or connect with me personally on the Pittsburgh project, please feel free to join my new Discord server, which I've linked below. This server will also host any future projects I take on, and has a growing community of members all interested in City Skylines. Also, if you'd like to be even more involved with the project, please feel free to check out my Patreon, which I've also linked below. Tiered member privileges include voting powers, exclusive Discord channels, early access to videos and behind-the-scenes content, as well as access to the save files updated monthly. Links to next transit plans, as well as the channels I mentioned earlier as inspiration, are also linked below. Definitely check them out as well if you're interested. Until next time, this has been City Skylines Pittsburgh. Thank you for watching.